Welcome in, race fans, to Royalty Racing Network, where tonight the Top Tier Racing Gen 4 Series will tackle one of the most technical racetracks that they will have seen all season long. Tonight, they will be at the Chicago Street Course. I'm your host, Brandon Massey. I'm stepping in for John Ross tonight. I want to say welcome in to all the viewers at home and abroad that's watching. Again, tonight, these drivers are going to be tackling the Chicago Street Course, and tonight I expect to see some tight technical racing throughout the city streets. I will say, though, the Gen 4 cars will be a handful, just provided the high horsepower, the low downforce. Keeping these cars off the walls, that's only going to be half the battle. As tonight, fuel strategy with pit entry and exit on a narrow course will be critical, as well as looking for passing zones. Turn 6, the South Columbus Drive area, and Turn 11, the East Roosevelt Road area, will both be prime opportunities for passing here tonight. I'm super excited about it. I've never seen the Gen 4 car race here on the Chicago Street Course, but I am super excited about it as we will take a look at tonight's race info. And you can see the course right there on the screen right now. The relative humidity shows to be about 22%, partly cloudy skies. It's going to be about 72 degrees outside. Now, this racetrack in length does run about 2.12 miles, but the track temperature itself, well, it's kind of hot out there. It's 100 degrees right now, and these drivers with these horsepower in these Gen 4 cars are going to be slipping and sliding all over the place. Right now, the drivers are in their qualifying sessions as we prepare to go green here shortly. And you can see one of the drivers right there. Now, looking back onto the season so far, based on the research that I have been able to gather, right now we have seen 4 different race winners that has multiple wins. Over the course of the 11 races that we've had currently in the season, well, we've seen 7 different winners, right? So tonight's going to be a fun night. Can one of these drivers break out of the multi-win area and go for 3 or maybe 4 wins this season, or will we see a 8th different winner in 12 races? Well, we'll decide that at the end of this 45-lap event here in the Chicago Street Course. And, well, I am excited for it, race fans. Again, I've never seen this car on this racetrack, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be exciting to watch. I can tell you I've been reading some comments from a lot of these drivers over in the Discord area throughout the evening. And a lot of these drivers say that braking is pretty difficult in the Gen 4 car here at the Chicago Street Course. So we're going to keep an eye on the braking zones. Again, turn 6, turn 11 is going to be prime opportunity for making passes. So we'll keep an eye on those areas as we get throughout the night. But right now, I want to take a look at the schedule. And I'll pull that up here. As last week, these drivers were at Martinsville, nice little hairpin short track, and tonight they're on the Chicago road course. Next week, we'll roll into Dover, and that should be a pretty good show with the Gen 4 car. And then after that, we're going to visit Chicagoland on 10-7 and Darlington on 10-14. And at that point, that's going to start our championship run here at the Top Tier Racing Gen 4 Series, where we'll battle Michigan, Road America, Charlotte, Bristol, and Las Vegas for the final, what will be 5 races of the season. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be exciting as we see how the season plays out for these drivers here in Trish's Learning Center series here at Top Tier Racing. We're going to take a quick commercial break as these drivers do get started into their qualifying runs. As you can see, they're out on the racetrack right now. We have several different drivers out. One of the fastest drivers I did see was Dylan Canova. We'll keep an eye on him. But right now, we're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with you with all the action live from the Chicago Street Course. Make sure you go and check out all of our sponsors we have here at the Top Tier Racing Series. Again, I'm your host, Brandon Massey. I'm super excited about tonight. These Gen 4 cars on this Chicago street course is going to be wild. It's going to be a fun night of racing. Right now, though, Brock Morris does set atop the leaderboard with 1:28. And then we're going to have Christian Proctor. He's going to be setting currently second. Nick Ruffini is going to be third currently right now on the scoring tower as we see JD Van Kirk. He's going to be logged in the fourth position. One of our multi-time winners this season is going to be Jacob Wilson. He's going to be currently in the fifth position. Jake Raven's going to be setting sixth. Ledesma is going to be seventh, and Weldon is going to be eighth. That's the only drivers right now currently that I have shown that has taken some laps around here for qualifying, as we do have what shows to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 drivers signed in. So we got 15 drivers signed in tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to see these drivers tackle this Chicago street course. I've never ran on this racetrack, never been on it. Couldn't tell you too much about it other than what I've been able to research and learn and pay attention to on TV. At least on TV, it has put on a pretty good show, and I don't suspect that we're going to see anything different here tonight, as we're going to see a really, really good show out of these drivers. So right now, we don't have any drivers on the racetrack. Again, it's going to be super difficult in this Gen 4 car here. I just want to reiterate that, right? High horsepower, low downforce is going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be an amazing show watching these drivers just battle. It's going to be a battle, right? I think tonight's going to be a battle of patience. I think the guy that can have the most patience and taking care of his tires, not burning them off too quick, is going to be the one of the guys that I think can ultimately win the race, and we'll find out who that is at the completion of this 45 lap event. I believe right now these drivers. So right now, yeah, we don't have anybody else out on the racetrack. So provided nobody else is out on the racetrack, we'll run through who we have, at least out of the 15. We've had 10 take a time. Right now, Brock Morris is going to set atop the scoring tower. Christian Proctor, Nick Ruffini, JD Van Kirk, Jacob Wilson, Kenny Kuko, Nick Baum, and I told him I wasn't going to mess that up, Kenny, and I apologize. I know I did. Nick Baum 7th, Jake Raven 8th, Ledesma 9th, Shade Weldon 10th. That's going to be the 10 drivers that we have currently that has taken a lap time. Outside of that, we're going to have Dylan Canova, Drafty Beef, Robert Altman, Zach White, and David Shively. That's going to be the remaining 5 drivers that is signed in here tonight for this event. It's going to be absolutely fun. It's going to be amazing. I don't have points updated. I don't have a points updated list to show you all. I will have that next week, because I think I'll be back here next week when we roll into, I believe it was Dover. So I will make sure that I have points for you all next week. Again, I think these drivers has only visited one other road course this season, I believe. Let me take a look at the schedule. It was Mid-Ohio. As you can see, the schedule. Yeah, so they've only visited one other road course this season. Now they're going to have a road course within the championship run, and that's going to be interesting too. Now, I've had multiple conversations with John Ross about this league, and I have been told that there's a few ringers, road course ringers in here. So we'll see if we can't pinpoint who those drivers are as qualifying is over. And that will be your qualifying results right there. As you can see, Brock Morris, Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini, JD Van Kirk, Jacob Wilson. That's going to be the top 5 for tonight's event. 15 drivers signed in. Again, 5 did not take a time, so they're going to choose to start towards the rear of the field. That might be the strategy that plays off. We'll see if that works out for those drivers from Canova down to Altman, 10th through 15th. I believe right now these drivers are going to be in their drivers meeting, I believe. So again, passing zones. The most notorious passing zones here on the Chicago street course is going to be turn 6, turn 11. I think the one thing that we're going to want to watch out for tonight, though, folks at home, is going to be dive bombs, right? I've read through some of the conversations with some of the drivers within the Discord, and braking has been one of those things that has... Braking has been one of those things that has been an item of conversation all evening long, at least from what I have seen and I have been able to read. As we can see, we're riding around right now. This is going to be Robert Altman right here. He's going to be driving the number 94 Ford Taurus. Looks like he's got Ninja Turtles on the side of that race car. And in fact, he does. The revved up racing machine here. Kenny Kuko. JD Van Kirk is going to be in the 22 here tonight. Dylan Canova in his Chevrolet. It's one of the coolest names. I'll be honest, I don't know what this gentleman's name is, and I hope that is his name, because that would be one of the coolest names. This is going to be Drafty Beef in the number 2 machine. And I promise you, I hope so. Race fans at home, I hope that is his actual name. I got to find out here. Probably after the race, I'll find out for sure. But that's one of the coolest names ever. Going to be Shane Weldon right here in the 5 machine. Good looking paint scheme on that race car. Brock Morris in the 05. Again, he had the fastest time in qualifying. Right there, we've seen a little bit of a wiggle out of the 13. That's going to be Christian Proctor in the 13. That wiggle, right, getting on the brakes, getting down into the corners, trying to make the apex. It's going to be difficult for these drivers. It's one of the things that I've keep an eye on throughout the night. You can see that car is just all over the racetrack. This is going to be such a fun race for you race fans at home. I promise you, this is going to be an absolute banger of a race. It's going to be exciting. Braking issue. We're going to keep an eye on that. As we had that same issue right there with Christian. You can see he's completely lost the front bumper off that car. So we have about 10 seconds in this warm-up session. So the drivers is taking the grid, and again, starting on pole tonight, it's going to be the 05 of Brock Morris. Outside him, starting in the number 2 position, it's going to be the 13 of Christian Proctor. Starting in the 3rd position, it's going to be the 04 of Nick Raffini. Starting 4th, driving the number 22, JD Van Kirk. Starting 5th, driving the number 51 is going to be Jacob Wilson. Starting 6th, driving the number 71 is going to be Kenny Kuko. Starting 7th, driving the number 1 here tonight, it's going to be Nick Baum. Starting 8th, driving the number 37 is going to be Jake Raven. Starting 9th is going to be the number 44, Jorge Ledesma Jr. Starting 10th is going to be the number 5 of Shane Weldon. Starting 11th is going to be the number 70 of Dylan Canova. Starting 12th, it's going to be the number 2, Drafty Beef. Starting 13th, driving the number 85 here tonight, is going to be Davis Shively. Starting 14th, driving the number 77, is going to be Zach White. And rounding out the field is going to be the number 94 of Robert Altman. That will be tonight's starting lineup, as these drivers are going to be under the pace laps here, as we're going to be looking to take the green flag on this race here tonight, and it's absolutely going to be an amazing race. I'm super excited for it. Now, race fans at home, I promise you, the shows will get better. I'm learning a whole new layout that we have here for our SDK. So our timing and scoring, so everything's laid out differently than I'm used to. So I'm still learning those types of things, and so the shows will get better, I promise you. But the action, well, the action tonight's going to be absolutely fire. As you can see, the beautiful city landscape of Chicago here. These drivers will be making their way over top of this little embankment here. It's going to be I believe that's an overpass. I can't remember exactly. Where that is, but the lights is off on the iRacing pace car, which means once these drivers do get around here to the restart zone, they will be taking the green flag here tonight. I got a feeling this one's going to be absolutely insane. So I'll try to keep up with all the racing action here for you fans at home. The pace car is off. That means these drivers, it's going to be in the hands of Brock Morris as he's going to bring him down, and the green flag is out, and we are underway for this 45 lap event here at the Chicago Street Course. As you can see right now, Christian Proctor had a little bit of advantage, but that corner there for Brock is actually going to pay off. Now, Proctor should have good position for the next right-hander here, and in fact, he will. Struggling getting the throttle off, but these two drivers are going to be able to now. In fact, it's going to be Christian Proctor. He's going to actually fall in line here. So Brock Morris is going to have a little bit of a breathing room from, oh, Ziv, they're both going to get the wall. The 22 is in trouble. Oh, big crash here. You can see the 04 hard into the wall. In fact, that's going to be, it's going to be a meatball for Kenny Kuko. So he's going to have, You can see these. We knew this was going to be a challenging type of race for these drivers. Again, I want to go back and see. I don't know if I'll be able to. Let's see if we can pull an instant replay here for you fans. You can see here they come. This is a heavy braking zone here. There goes the 04. The 22 gets loose. Oh, the 04 just missed a corner. And the 71 had nowhere to go. And that's what's going to happen there. But right now, Brock Morris has been able to extend his lead out from Christian Proctor. Right now, it's going to be a little over 4 seconds for these drivers. So right here, you got Brock Morris, Christian Proctor, JD Van Kirk. Again, he was one driver that we seen just get a little bit loose. Dylan Canova, one of the drivers who elected not to take a lap time, and in fact has already raced his way up to 4th position. He's looking to make a move here. He's not going to be able to. He'll fall right in behind the 22 of Van Kirk. Again, the passing zones, right? We talked about it. Turn 6, turn 11. Right now, this is one of the biggest or one of the closest battles we have on the racetrack. It's going to be these two. It's going to be JD Van Kirk in the 22, Dylan Canova in the 70. Patience, again, I believe patience is going to be a virtue. I don't know how tires are going to react like later in the runs. We'll pay attention to that and see, because we do have a couple of drivers down on pit road right now. This battle's heating up. Dylan Canova is going to be able to. Thought maybe he was going to have a little bit of a run there. He will here though. He should. A little bit loose off exit, a little bit of tire spin on the exit of that corner. And in fact, it's going to allow Van Kirk to actually put some distance between them. Again, that's one of those high-speed zones that you don't want to overjudge trying to carry momentum. We can see we have a slew of cars here, a couple of teammate cars there, the two purple ones, you can see them. Five of Shane Weldon, Drafty Beef, Zach White, all right here together with Jake Raven. Jake's actually been able to put a little bit of distance between those three drivers behind him. This battle here still rages on, though. This is going to be the battle for the 3rd position. Right now, Brock Morris has been able to extend his lead out to a little over 5.5 seconds. Got a notification that Nick Baum crashed. Let's take a look and see what that incident may have been. Looks pretty solid here, though. Just got the car upset. Just spun it around. So the battle still rages on between Canova, Van Kirk. It's going to be the battle for 3rd once again. These three drivers here still all over top of each other right here. You got the 5, the 2, the 77. Patience, right? I talked about that in pre-race. Patience. These guys may be able to, swing themselves some solid top 10 positions, maybe even top 5. They're not wearing their tires out. You can see Ledesma there does not have a front bumper on the front of his car. Heavy damage on Nick Raffini here. Kenny Kuko as well. They're still sitting on pit road. Right now, though, showing the way is going to be the 05 Brock Morris. He was our fastest qualifier. Right now, his best lap time has been a 1:29.66, 1 minute 29.66 seconds. And he's just laying down some heaters. The last time by, 5 laps in, he's only lost about a second. It was a 1 minute 30.53 of a lap. So he's only lost about a second. Again, right now, you have about a 7.5 second lead. I think right now, patience is going to be virtue for Brock, keeping his car out of trouble. Now, if you're Christian Proctor, you're kind of hoping maybe that Brock makes a mistake. Again, patience, right? If it was me coming into this race, I want a solid points day. I wouldn't worry about winning it. That's for sure. Just a solid points day. Let's move on. Let's get to Dover and let's see what happens. Dylan Canova has since been able to work himself around JD Van Kirk and by some distance. So Dylan Canova is going to assume the 3rd position here now. He's going to be the biggest mover. Currently, right now, he's up 8 positions. JD Van Kirk's going to hold on to the 4th position. Jacob Wilson's going to hold on to the 5th position. Most of these cars look pretty clean. Currently in the 6th position is going to be Davis Shively. Nick Baum's going to be 7th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. currently riding in the 8th position. Jake Raven 9th. Robert Altman's 10th. That's going to be the top 10. Then we're going to have Shane Weldon, Drafty B, Zach White. They're all going to be back here. They're kind of running their own race back here, just hanging out. Take a look at Jake Raven. He's going to tow to the pit here. Let's take a look and see what happened to Jake. Let's take a quick look here. He's going to be that black Ford Taurus right there, dead center of the screen. We'll take a look and see what happens. Carrying a lot of speed, heavy braking. You can see the nose of that car. Oh, wheel hopped. Oh, yeah, he took a major shot. Yeah, the car just wheel hopped, it looked like to me. And when it wheel hopped, that was it. There was nothing else that he could do. So no change out front. I'm going to see if I can find us a battle on the racetrack. Right now, Canova's about 8 seconds behind Proctor right now. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We'll see if maybe Canova has been one of the faster cars. Looking at lap times. In fact, Brock Morris just laid down the fastest lap, or his fastest lap of the race, which is going to be a 1:29.50. Christian Proctor was a little bit faster the last lap in comparison to Dylan Canova. So we'll keep an eye, see if maybe he can't make up some ground. See if I can find us a battle on the racetrack right now. These are going to be the 3 closest drivers that we have together. This is going to be Ledesma Jr., Nick Baum, and Robert Altman all right here. We'll keep an eye on these guys. We'll see if they're able to make up any time. Going to be a battle for position. Altman trying to take that position over from Nick Baum. He's not going to be able to. So no change out front. Brock Moore still showing the way. Virtually matching lap times right now is Christian Proctor and Dylan Canova. They're still pretty much matching lap times, so let's take a look at Zach White. Okay, he's right there, so Nick Raffini is back out on the racetrack. He's going to be 6 laps down. He's one of the cars that had to tow early. Let the pit crew work on that 04 Chevrolet. Try to get it back out on the racetrack. Just show David Shively. Well, let's see if I can't find exactly what happened to Mr. Shively here. This might be another one of those wheel hopping situations. I'm not 100% sure. Looks to be in the same area as the one driver. It's actually the front straightaway. There's the pits. Oh, he just locked it up. His car didn't turn. Overshot the entry. Car didn't turn. So just when we didn't think that Brock Morris could get any faster, he's in fact went out and laid down another fast lap. I believe it's going to be the fastest of the race currently. It's going to be a 1:29.29, a minute 29 and a half. So right now, the lead, which was at 11 plus seconds at one point in time, has since dropped. It's come down to under. We see the 44 around right there. But the lead for Brock Morris actually is shrinking. Now, I don't know. He's got a little bit of right front damage on that race car. The lead is shrinking somewhat. Christian Proctor's been able to make up some ground. At the one point in time, the lead was over 11 seconds. He's now about 8.5 behind. So we'll keep an eye on that. We can see Jacob Wilson in the 51 there. So no change out front. We're 10 laps in. We got 35 laps to go. Brock Moore still leading. Christian Proctor second. Dylan Canova third. We're going to take a quick commercial break, race fans, and we'll get right back here live from the Chicago Street Course here in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome back, race fans. What was about an 8.5-second lead has since grown to now what will be almost a 12-second lead for Brock Morris. I want to try something here. I want to do what's called inside the lap. And what we're going to do is we're going to go on board with Brock Morris here, and we're going to take a lap around the Chicago street course. So let's go inside the lap. And that will be inside the lap with Brock Morris. As you can see, just driving around here on this 2.12 miles Chicago street course, just exactly how rough it is for these drivers. And car control, I tell you, one thing that I noticed there was just car control, right? Just keeping the tires underneath of him, doing everything right, being patient, working in and around lap traffic, not overdriving entries, not spinning the tires on exit. We do have 14 laps down. We're going to be completing the 14th lap, coming to lap 15. Again, no change out front. Brock, Proctor, Canova, Van Kirk 4th, Wilson 5th. Again, virtually right now, I'm not seeing very much tire fall off out of these Gen 4 race cars. I believe there was something that happened with Jorge Ledesma Jr. here. Let's take a look. I didn't see anything there. Oh, there it is. And that's what happened to him. So right now, all these drivers are completely 100% spread out. Right now, Morris holds about 11.5-second lead over Proctor. Proctor has about a 13-second lead, I believe, over Canova. And then he has roughly a 29-second lead over JD Van Kirk. Jacob Wilson. It's a good looking paint job on that car. That 51 machine. As you can see, he's chasing down Nick Baum right there. Now, Nick Baum is actually right behind him in position. Zach White he's had a very quiet day so far, but he's kept the wheels under him. He's done everything right. He's currently riding right now in the 8th position, 2 laps down. But the one thing I see on that car is a little bit of left front damage. I say that, and he misses the corner just a little bit, but a little bit of left front damage. But overall, that 77 machine of Zach White is relatively clean. You can see the brakes glowing heavy on that car. There's Drafty. Altman's on pit road. Nick Raffini coming here. He's going to let the leader go. I believe we have some drivers that has since parked their vehicles for the night. Hello Kitty on the hood of that car. I'm sure the little race fans at home would appreciate that. Good looking paint scheme here for Dylan Canova. See something happen to Zach White. He's still rolling though. I'm not 100% sure. That car just will not turn for him. I'm not sure what's going on, but that car just, it's like it has no brakes. That Royalty Motorsports machine. See a lot of missing body panels on some of these cars. Hey, Jacob Wilson here in the 5th position's been able to keep a relatively clean race car. He is 1 lap down currently, but he does ride in the top 5 in the 5th position. He's got a relatively clean race car. I believe Jacob's been one of our multi-time winners here in the season. In fact, he has. Anderson, Kuko, Canova, Wilson all have multiple wins this season. Proctor, Wiseman, Morris has all grabbed wins as well. So we've had 7 different winners in 11 races. Right now, Morris is looking to add his name to the list of multi wins this season. Desmond Jr. Drafty's on pit road. Nick Raffini currently in the 10th position. 7 laps down. It's had a tough day today. Got a real tough day today in that 04 machine. So Brock Morris has put down 19 laps. He's working on completing 19. We'll be coming to 20. We'll have about 25 to go here in a couple of laps. Right now, that lead is out to about 18 seconds. You just see how rough the bumps are there. Watching the 13 here of Proctor come through there. We've seen it on board with Morris. Just how rough the streets here are in Chicago. And then we also know too that the race surface itself was 100 degrees. So JD Van Kurt quietly riding in the 4th position here. Still has a relatively clean Monte Carlo. Good looking paint scheme on that machine. If you are tuned in to the Royalty Racing Network, make sure to drop a like, a follow, so you don't miss any of the racing action. We are live on Tuesdays with the Top Tier Racing Group here with the Gen 4 Series. And then the SCSRA ARCA Series on Wednesdays. And then the SCSRA Next Gen Series, I believe, on Saturdays. But I could have read that wrong. We want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, though. SM Racing Products and Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel. So we want to say thank you to them. Revved Up Racing, Premier Racing Setups, so we are down to 25 to go officially. I can tell you, I'm glad I'm up here in the commentary booth and not out on that racetrack. Just watching Brock Morris lay down a lap here when we was on board with him, just look at that car bounce around. I mean, that car is just bouncing around. Probably the cleanest car we have on the racetrack right now is Dylan Canova. Woo, he was carrying some speed through there. You can see him lock up the fronts just to try to make that corner. It was Van Kirk there. About 3 or 4 seconds off of Van Kirk is the race leader. In fact, you can see him coming right there. So when Brock Morris gets to him, that will put 3 cars remaining on the lead lap. It's just been a stellar performance out of Brock Morris. Christian Proctor. So we see we have about 4 cars, give or take, sitting on pit road right now. So Morris has been able to get around Van Kirk, so that will put Van Kirk 1 lap down. That's going to leave Christian Proctor, Dylan Canova on the lead lap. Right now, Canova is got about 56-ish seconds or so over top of the leader right now. And with his lap times, I'm not so certain that Morris will be able to get to him, provided Canova doesn't have any issues. So I don't think Morris will be able to get to him, but I could be wrong. I just don't see it. Looking at the lap times right now, last time by from Morris was a 129.70. Canova ran a 130. Christian Proctor's on pit road. Gonna get some fuel. 4 fresh Goodyears to put on the side of that car. Looked like JD Van Kirk might have missed the corner there. I'm not sure. Let's back up and see if we can catch what happened here with the instant replay. It's coming out of pit road. The 77 there of Zach White. Still on the racing surface. Oh, yeah, just got on the brakes and the car wouldn't turn. We've seen that actually a couple times tonight where the car just, you get on the brakes and the car don't want to turn. So Brock Morris, our leader, has hit pit road. That should be the one and only stop that we see out of these drivers here today. So Brock is on pit road. Dylan Canova still hasn't been on pit road. Christian Proctor has been on pit road, so he's currently working in around some traffic here. So 15.5-second stop for Brock Morris. He's going to be down and away. So that should be all he needs to be able to get to the finish, as we're going to be coming to 20 to go once he gets back to the start finish line. Now we see Dylan Canova on pit road. So we'll see where Christian Proctor, he was actually in front of Canova. Now, in fact, he's actually been able to get back around him. So Proctor will move back into second. Canova will fall back to third. Right now, Van Kirk's going to be a lap down. So no change up front. Morris still leads the way. Well, I'm not sure why we went to inside the lap. I apologize for that, but welcome back, race fans. We are inside 20 to go. It's now 19 laps to go. And in fact, Brock Morris has just laid down the fastest lap of the race. It's going to be a 1 minute 29.04 second lap. And in fact, Christian Proctor just laid down his fastest lap as well. It's going to be a 1:29.43, a minute 29.43 seconds for Christian Proctor. So his lap times has picked up a little bit. However, still about a half second off pace from Brock Morris currently. It seems as if to me a lot of these drivers are just trying to salvage some pretty decent finishes. Again, one of two of our biggest movers, Dylan Canova, currently up 8 spots. He's still riding in the third position. Another one of our big movers was Zach White. He's now on pit road. That'll be the last time that we see him on pit road, but he was up 8 positions before hitting pit road. Currently up 6 positions. One of the heartbreaks for tonight, though, would be this machine right here in the 71. It's going to be Kenny Kuko. He's down about 9 positions, currently scored 15th on the scoring tower. And so not the day that he wanted to have or the night that he wanted to have here on the Chicago street course. Drafty still getting repairs made. So is Kenny. So no true real battles going on, or no battles for position right now. Most of everybody's spread out pretty well. Seen several incidents to start this event right out of the gate, and that kind of spread everybody out. It was a hectic couple of laps, first few handful of laps there, then once it got settled in. But from the drivers talking in Discord, I can tell you it's not surprising at all. At least it isn't to me, based on the conversations that they were having. Let's take a look and see what happened to Nick Baum here. You see him driving off the corner. Liquid death on the side of that car. It just gets on the gas and loops it around. Couldn't tell what was on the side of that race car. Liquid death, though. That's pretty cool. I believe that is a water. Could be wrong, though. So the leader's going to be getting into some heavy lap traffic here. You can see those guys just move over, let the leader go. What an absolutely amazing landscape here, Chicago, though. Running around the streets of Chicago, made for some memorable racing. SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. That's exactly how he got his start in the NASCAR. He comes in, does a one-off, and ends up winning the race. He's first time in one of the next gen race cars, and in fact has went on to win multiple times now in the Cup Series at multiple different road courses they have on the schedule in the NASCAR Cup Series. Has since been eliminated from the playoffs. But he's always fun to watch on road courses, I can tell you that. Hopefully he puts on a pretty good show when the Cup Series heads to the Roval here in a couple weeks. I should be at the Roval to be able to watch that one live, and hoping he puts on a pretty good show. So this time, once the leader gets back to the start-finish line, we'll have 15 to go. See if we can figure out what happened to Dylan Canova. I showed that he was in an accident. See if we can narrow that down. Not sure that he was, but we'll take a look at it nonetheless here. Heavy braking. This is going to be on the front stretch. Ah, yeah, just heavy braking. The car won't turn under braking. We've seen a lot of that. That's the 4th or 5th time we've seen that. Not a lot of damage on the front of that race car. Take a look here and see if we can figure out what happened to Ledesma Jr. so that he had a little bit of a moment here. We'll figure out if we can. Not sure. Maybe this corner here. Heavy on the brakes. Car won't turn. I'm seeing it again. Note to self. You race fans at home, note to self. If you run the Gen 4 car on a road course, the car doesn't like to turn under heavy braking. So we got to keep that in mind if you run the Gen 4 on road courses. So right now, Canova is about 60 seconds or so behind the leader. Again, I still don't think he's a threat to going a lap down. The leader would have to make up 30-ish seconds over the next 14 laps to be able to put Canova a lap down. So I don't think he's any threat for that. Jacob Wilson, Nick Baum, Zach White. Thirteen laps to go. So Zach White had a situation here. I'm going to guess it's going to be the same thing. He's going to make this corner. He's going to go to the next right-hander up there, and he's going to get on the brakes, and the car's not going to turn. See the flames out of the pipes. He's on the brakes. Yep. So braking's been a big thing, right? Being able to get onto the brakes, get the car to rotate, make the corners. Well, we see some parts flying from this car. He had one of the cleanest cars all race long. Let's take a look and see if we can figure out what happened to Jacob Wilson. Real clean car. Oh, that was strange. Car just stepped out from underneath of him there. That was wild. Interesting. I would have not thought that we would have seen that. It's quite interesting, though. In fact, Jacob's actually bringing that machine to pit road. Does it feel like he's going to limp it the next 12 remaining laps? So he's going to bring it to pit road. I'm not seeing anything from race control in terms of having a meatball or anything like that. So it is just going to be some repairs, maybe some tires. Not 100% sure, but He will bring that ride to pit road. 12 laps to go for Brock Morris. He was our fastest qualifier. Has led all what would be 33 laps currently right now, I believe. So again, next week, these drivers will make their way out to Dover, Delaware to find out which one of these guys will be able to tame Miles the Monster on that 1 mile concrete track. That's going to be an absolute blast to watch these Gen 4 cars go around there. So right now we still have 7 cars out logging laps on the racetrack. Gonna have Brock Moore still leading the way, Christian Proctor second, Dylan Canova third, JD Van Kirk fourth, Jacob Wilson fifth, Nick Baum sixth, Zach White seventh. That'll be the 7 cars that we currently still have logging laps on the racetrack. So we're down to 10 laps to go officially. Uh-oh. Let's find out how he ended up there. Jorge Ledesma Jr. See if we get... Oh, the 77 spins in front of him. Not going to play a factor, though. As Ledesma Jr. will be able to clear him. That's what happened. So Ledesma will find himself on pit road. You can see him right there amongst the 2 and the 71 as well. It's been all Brock Morris here tonight. That 05 machine. Uh-oh. Let's find out what happened here. Our 3rd place running car with some issues. It's going to be the front straightaway again. At least the straightaway next towards pit road. That's what I would call the front straightaway. It's going to be heading down into turn one. You see, locks him up. Smoke heavy out of the left front. Whoop! There comes Nick Baum. Just that could have been a lot worse than it was. Luckily enough for Dylan, it wasn't that bad. So I said, barring any major disasters, I didn't feel that he was a threat of going a lap down. In fact, now he's about a minute 18, minute 19 behind race leader Brock Morris. Roughly 8 to 10 seconds behind Canova is race leader. So you can see Dylan here. And there's the race leader just now entering the front straightaway. So about the distance of the front straightaway between those two race cars. Very solid day for Christian Proctor, though, riding in that second position. Dylan Canova's he's actually gonna be able to hold on to that third position. Van Kirk still only one lap down. The problem is he's right there with Dylan. Jacob Wilson, Nick Baum, Zach White, Nick Raffini. See, the race leader just went around Nick Baum right there. Zach White had a little bit of issue going into turn one to make the right-hander at turn two, I believe. So when the race leader gets back to the start finish line, we will be at our 5 lap to go mark. It's been a wild and entertaining night watching these Gen 4 race cars tackle the streets of Chicago. Much like we discussed earlier in the night, we knew these cars would be a handful. We knew with the horsepower and the low downforce that keeping these cars off the wall was only going to be half the battle. We knew that this racetrack has a lot of narrow courses, areas to it. Coming into this race, Dylan Canova had won 2 straight. Wilson, I believe, was last week's winner at Martinsville. He was starting to catch a little bit of momentum. Right now, Brock Morris looking to become a repeat winner here at the Top Tier Racing Trisha's Learning Center Gen 4 Series. So the running order is as follows: Morris, Proctor, Canova, Van Kirk, Wilson, Nick Baum, Zach White, Raffini, Ledesma Jr., Drafty. That's going to be the top 10. Altman, Shively, Raven, Weldon, and Kuko is going to round out the remaining rest of the field. Again, we had 15 drivers sign in here tonight. I'm sure a lot of these drivers are going to be ecstatic once this race is over, knowing that next week we will be heading into Dover, Delaware. Again, I think that's going to be a fun race when we get to Dover next week. This high horsepower, low downforce that's in these Gen 4 cars, I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch. See the brakes glowing heavily on the front end of that race car. See if I can get, I don't know if I can. See if maybe we can catch some brakes glowing here. Not going to be able to there. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that is Dylan Canova right there. So commentator's curse, I guess. 3 laps to go. Whoop. Dylan just seems frustrated. Just hold on to it for a couple more laps, Dylan, and you'll be able to park that machine. So does Zach White had an issue. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Zach. He's since moved his car to pit road. And one of the cleaner cars throughout the duration of this event was riding, I believe, in like 5th, 6th position. Oh, that's heavy damage. Yeah, you can see the left front. Right front now. Yeah, it's just heavy damage right there. So 2 laps to go for race leader Brock Morris. He has been able to get around Dylan Canova. Christian Proctor still second. Even though race leader Brock Morris has been able to get around Dylan Canova, he's going to be able to hold on to the 3rd position. JD Van Kirk 4th. Jacob Wilson. That rounds out your top 5. So again, not necessarily the showing that some of these drivers has wanted to have here tonight. A lot of them is going to be excited to get out of the streets of Chicago and onto the concrete surface of Dover. But what a performance that Brock's been able to put on here tonight. Came out fastest qualifier. Has led the way since. Has not looked back. So it will be 1 lap to go here at the line. It's been nothing shy of a dominating performance for the 05 of Brock Morris. While that race car does have a little bit of damage to it, He's been able to keep it out front all night long. Christian Proctor, he's going to come home barring any major disaster here with what would be a solid second place finish here tonight. Dylan Canova will round out the top three. The biggest mover on the night was Dylan in the 70 machine, so hats off to him. Started in, believe, in what would be the 11th position. Couple more corners for Brock. And Brock will see the checkered flag as Brock Morris will win here at the streets of Chicago in the top tier racing Trisha's Learning Center Gen 4 series. Christian Proctor is going to be looking for the checkered flag here. It'll take him some time to get back around to the start finish line to do his victory celebration. Great showing for Christian here. Couple more corners and he'll be able to bring that machine home in the P2 position. So unofficially right now, the way that I have the results is going to be Morris, Proctor, Canova, Van Kirk, Wilson. That's the top five. Baum, Ruffini, White, Ledesma Jr., Beef. That's going to be what would be 6th through 10th. Altman, Shively, Raven, Weldon, and Kuko to round out the remaining top 15. We're gonna see if we can get these guys up here just momentarily. Have a quick conversation with these three gentlemen. As you can see, there is the race results. Brock Morris is your winner. Christian Proctor, Dylan Canova, JD Van Kirk, Jacob Wilson, Nick Baum, Zach White, Nick Ruffini, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Drafty Beef, Robert Altman, Davis Shively, Jake Raven, Shane Weldon, Kenny Kuko. That'll round out the top 15. So let's see if I can get these drivers in here. Our second place driver. Dylan, it's Brandon up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Dylan, it's Brandon up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, man. Solid third place finish tonight, I believe. You had one of the cleanest cars throughout the entire evening. Just it seemed like after you got off pit road for the one pit stop you had to make here tonight, looked like you just kind of fell into some struggles, and but overall was able to bring home a solid third place finish. Take us through your night here tonight.
I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say. It's what I've come to expect out of road courses. There's just not really anything happening. I think most of those mistakes after the pit stop were just pure boredom. I think there were 3 cars on the lead lap, with the closest race on the track was 20 seconds. So really just wasn't fun. So kind of gets boring, and once you get bored and you just start making mental mistakes. But I mean, good finish overall, considering we started in the back after a rough qualifying. So I'll take the P3 and the points and go on to Dover, where we dominated in the championship rounds last season.
Well, absolutely, man. Yeah, you was the biggest mover tonight. I had you up 8 spots from your starting position. Going into Dover next week, you just said you dominated their last championship run for last season there. So going into Dover, takeaways from what you would expect with Miles de Munster.
I expect the car to be a little on edge, especially firing off. Dover always has that tendency to kind of to build tight, and then you end up with a loose off condition. If the track's super hot, it'll just be slick all the way around. But normally I expect it to kind of burn the right front up, and then you'll run into that risk where you've got too much wheel on exit and you'll start snapping around over the tunnel on the backstretch.
Yeah, once you get too much input put into the wheel, you get tight on entry, it'll be snappy, loose center exit. Well, tell you what, man, great job tonight for a solid 3rd place finish. It's going to be a solid points day for you. Any sponsors or any friends, family, fans, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, the admins for putting this on, so we have a place to race, even if we go to places like we did tonight. You for broadcasting. I'm sure that was a tough go at 45 laps. All the fans out there that are watching, all drivers that show up each week, so we have some people race against, and just everybody over at Hyperspeed, Revved Up, and Victory Fuel, Circle W Farms, Fords by Dennis, the No Names, everybody that makes this possible.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. Knowing what I know now, I'll keep an eye on you when we roll into Dover.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll be talking to you then.
Sounds good, buddy. That's going to be your 3rd place finisher in Dylan Canova. Absolutely great run tonight. Again, much like he said, race fans, you start making mental mistakes once you get out there and you get some gaps put between you. But let's see if we can bring in our 2nd place finisher. Christian, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, you got me?
I got you, buddy. Hey, solid night tonight, man. You kept that car clean throughout pretty much the entire 45 laps we had here on the Chicago Street Course. Was able to bring your machine home in 2nd. Take us through your night and how you was able to be patient and bring home a solid 2nd place finish.
Well, going in, I knew I had nothing for Brock. He's always quick on road courses. That's all he runs in the league, but I'm not going to go there. But I had nothing for Brock, so I was just going to battle him first lap. Hope I can stay in front of him or get out in front of him and stay there. But once he got around me, I kind of just sat back, tried playing it safe, and was hoping the back of the field would get stacked up a little bit, and I'd get a good gap there where I could play it safe the rest of the race, and pretty much worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean, once you got through the first, say, 3-4 laps, that seems to be from the green flag to about lap 3, lap 4, it seemed if you was able to get through a lot of that, congestion, that you'd be able to be able to space out and actually be able to put some laps down. At one point in time, later in the run, I believe after your pit stop, you was actually able to lay down what would have been your fastest lap of the race. You wasn't far off, Brock, though. I will say that in terms of the fastest lap of the race. You wasn't far off. Nonetheless, a solid 2nd place finish. Now, next week, we head into Dover. Thoughts on Dover when we get there?
Dover, man, it's going to be rough for me. I'm not too good at I guess you call short tracks and all that, but I mean, I'm first in points so far, so I'm pretty consistent as it is this season, and I'm really just looking to go out there and try to survive. It's going to be rough for me.
Well, consistency was what matters. You said you was the points leader, so congratulations on that. But I'm certain that you have some friends, family, sponsors, people you'd like to thank for your 2nd place finish tonight.
I just want to thank my team, man. We always work together and help each other out. Me and JD were the only two out there tonight putting it down. Great finish for JD tonight also. But yeah, I just want to thank the team, man. We're growing together and making each other better.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, congratulations on your second place finish and what seemed to be a very tough night for most of the drivers out here. And we will see you next week at Dover.
Appreciate it, man.
That will be the second place finisher in Christian Proctor, our current points leader here in the series. Now we're going to see if we can bring in our race winner. Brock, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. How's it going?
Hey, man, it's going great. I'm probably as good as you are right now. I'll tell you, man, you was the fastest qualifier for the night and then led this 45-lap event here on the streets of Chicago from start to finish. Just class of the field. I mean, I couldn't word it any different just from a commentator standpoint. Take us through your night and how you was able to manage your tires, be patient, and ultimately bring your number 05 home in victory lane.
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all. And yeah, it was just all about not making many mistakes just over the course of the night. This is a very difficult track. And unfortunately, I had a little kiss on the wall on lap 1. So had a little bit of an alignment issue there. But after that, it was just kind of set your pace, hit your marks, and minimize mistakes. So tire management was also a big part, just being easy on the throttle, trying not to lose the rears. Since a lot of these corners, you need a good drive out of them since there's straights. But yeah, it was just kind of, set sail and take it to the finish.
Now, at one point in time during the race tonight, I was actually able to go on board your machine and ride around the Chicago street course here a lap with you. And one thing that I did notice was how much character the streets of Chicago have, but then also your car control, being able to, not spin the tires. I caught on to some things that you were doing. Yeah, let's talk about the characteristics of the streets here in Chicago. It looked like it was just rough. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Just looked rough.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like just normal northern U.S. roads. Like, I'm from Michigan, and this is how they are up here, and it's pretty bumpy. And in a car as easily upset as the Gen 4 and any stock car are, you just really need to be diligent on that throttle pedal because it will go around before you even know it. So it's just a part of, you have to know that character going in, and you just have to have that in the back of your mind the whole time, that this isn't like Sonoma or Watkins Glen where you can get on it a bit quicker than streets of Chicago.
Now, we do have another road course coming up later on in the season. It's going to be a few races out. Do we get to see you next week at Dover, and will we see you at the next road course in the championship run?
I'm road courses only this season, so I'll be at Road America. But yeah, I'm not the best at ovals, so I just tend to stay away from them. And I just do the road courses for fun.
Well, fair. I get it. I'm the exact opposite. I'll run any oval you want to put me on, but don't put me on a road course. So, yeah.
Maybe we can combine forces. And I can do the road courses. You do the ovals.
Yeah, I mean, I'll gladly sit in the seat of the car if you need me to. Yeah, for sure. Well, congratulations on your win, man. I'm sure you got some friends, family, sponsors that you'd like to thank for you to be able to park that machine in victory lane here tonight.
Oh yeah. First of all, Corn Dog Designs. If you need a design on your iRacing car, let me know. I did this car. I did a couple of the others in the field. So if you need a design, let me know. I'd also like to thank Revved Up Racing. I've been hanging out with them, doing the series with them. Kettering Esports. And then I'd like to thank my family too.
Well, absolutely, man. Phenomenal job tonight. Again, congratulations on your victory, and we will see you at Road America later on in the season.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night. That will be your winner in Brock Morris. You heard it there, race fans. He does only road courses, so we'll not see him next week, but he has since become a multi-time winner here at Top Tier Racing in Trisha's Learning Center Gen 4 Series. Well, that's going to be it for the broadcast tonight. I want to say thank you to Top Tier Racing, John Ross, for allowing me the opportunity to come up here and do this show for you all tonight. And race fans, we will see you right back here next week on Tuesday when the Top Tier Racing Trisha's Learning Center Gen 4 Series tackles Miles the Monster.